Good morning. It is Craig Bennett, aka Cash Cake, here with DFSArmy for I'm going to do an MLB early look at the 4 p.m. slate here. It's a little bit different. We have a total of 5 games on the Fanduel slate and 2 games on the DraftKings slate. So I'm going to do a little bit different. We're going to go in and kind of talk about some pitchers on Fanduel, talk about, give you my 3 or 4 early core plays that I'm looking at. Talk about some pitches and some hitters that are good on the pitches that those pitchers thrown, and just kind of build around that. And then on DraftKings on the 2-gamer, I'm going to go into our DFSArmy domination station. If you know, it's the last couple of videos that I've done, and kind of build, some lineups in the 2-gamer because it's a little bit different than it is on a full slate. And I thought I'd help you out. And again, if you want our domination station, head on over to DFSArmy and sign up. Use promo code CashCake, save 10%. Get all of our tools and cheat sheets and everything that we have to offer. And if you like this video, man, hit that thumbs up for me button. I really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications so you know when I upload videos, because we're going to have a lot today. It is Monday, April 5th. Hope you had a good Easter. And we just got a ton to get through here. I'm going to do this video, the early one, and then I'm going to do the main slate baseball first look, and then a main slate basketball first look today. And then I'm going to go in and jump into some prize picks. And then, who knows, might do a prop bet video as well and show you the tool. It's been crushing since we've debuted it over at SportsBetArmy the last 4 days, and kind of show you what we have to offer there and maybe jump on a few picks. But with that, let's just dive into this right now and talk about a little early baseball. Again, it starts at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, like I said, I'm going to start with Fanduel here. And because it is a 5-gamer, kind of talk about some pitchers that I like here. And then we'll jump over and use the domination station for DraftKings and kind of build some MME lineups for that. So first off, just go through the pitchers here. At the top here, we got Danny Duffy. Fanduel, when you're building pitchers, you're looking for strikeouts, man. You don't care about how many, hits they give up or walks. It's like earned runs and strikeouts. That is all you care about. How deep can they get? How many strikeouts they get? Danny Duffy is not a big strikeout pitcher. 20% K rate going up against Cleveland here. Don't really like this spot, even though Cleveland hasn't been really strong. Don't really like this spot for him, especially him being the most expensive pitcher. If you notice, when Danny Duffy is 7,400 and he's the most expensive pitcher, this is what we have to work on today. So I'm definitely not going to jump on this too much. Don't really like it. Not gonna jump on this. So he's not a pitcher I'm gonna look at. Coming back down here to Fulte. Fulte does have a 24% K rate, but again, it's going up against this Toronto defense. I don't love it. They have a 5.29 implied run total, so somebody that I don't really want to attack either. So again, 6,900 going up against Toronto. Again, some strikeouts there, but I don't think I want to jump on him either. I think there's some cheaper options we can even look at. Come down to Jordan Montgomery. Again, going up against Baltimore, 22% strikeout rate. It's got a pretty decent, pretty decent matchup here going up against Baltimore. The problem with this is the wind is blowing out in Baltimore. In Yankee Stadium. We already have that real short right porch as it is, and it's 18 to 20 miles an hour blowing out to right. So I don't think I want a ton of pitching in this game either. Even though, we look at the implied run total for Boston is down to 3.97. So I think there's some cheaper pitchers I think we can look at here, and I'm just going to dive right into them. And it's kind of funny. I'm looking at Ponce de Leon and Jose de Leon. Both these guys are cheap. So if you look at St. Louis going up against Miami, Ponce de Leon, he's got a 26% K rate. Miami is a just shy of 300 WOBA against right-handed pitchers. They K 25% of the time. It's a good matchup. I don't mind going him. They got a Miami has a 4.11 implied run total. So he's somebody that I would look at here for cheap. We're going to need some of these Yankee bats. They're going up against Jorge Lopez, which is not good at all. And I think he's going to get crushed here. They're going to be popular. But to be able to get some of these expensive bats, I feel like it's going to be a cheap pitcher, expensive bat for this early slate. So he's one guy I would look at. And then we'll talk about Jose de Leon. He's only 5,500 pitching for Cincinnati. 27.74% K rate here. Pull up his profile and kind of see, the pitches that he does throw. he has got, let's look here. Looks like he throws his sinker 87% of the time. And really, there's nobody that can really touch that when it comes to the Pittsburgh side. Looking at it, that the lineup we have here, Adam Frazier does have about a 391 WOBA against that sinker, which he throws. He's really only 2 pitches. It's like changeup. He's got a fastball sinker and a changeup that he throws. And Colin Moran's got a 381 WOBA against it. But all of them have extremely low ISOs. Only Frazier's really the one I'm worried about here. So again, really like this Jose De Leon. He's super cheap. 27.74% K rate. Like I said, Pittsburgh's got a .266 WOBA, 266 WOBA against righties, 25% K rate against righties. It just all kind of lines up for him. They got a, pretty low implied run total at 4.11. But just looking at his pitching profile and seeing how much he throws that sinker, I think, it just kind of bodes well for him. So in this lineup, I'm going to throw him in here. Again, I don't know. It's either him or Ponce de Leon are the guys I'm looking at for cheap. I just really like how cheap he is. And we can basically get any bat we want. We got 3,600 left for all the bats. So I'm going to throw him here as the pitcher. It could change. Again, this is super early. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm just kind of getting this out. But I thought, I think there's some bats we're going to get to, and it's going to start with the Yankees. So I told you the wind is blowing out here, blowing out to right, 18, 20 miles an hour. And we're going to want to attack Jorge Lopez. Again, 17% K rate. The Yankees are 349 WOBA against righties. Those lefties, especially Jay Bruce here. If we go look at the pitch profile that we have for Lopez here, Lopez throws a lot of sinkers and knuckle curves. He does have a straight fastball and a changeup as well that he throws. So he's got 4 pitches, but that sinker that he throws that almost 50% of the time to righties, throws it 30% of the time to lefties. So if we just look at the pitch profile a little bit, when it comes to that sinker, Aaron Judge smashes the sinker. He's got a 434 WOBA against it. Only 180 ISO, 43% hard contact rate. But then coming down and looking at some of these lefties, man, Jay Bruce profile extremely well against this pitch. That he again throws at 30% to lefties. He's got a 472 WOBA against it, 529 ISO against it, 50% hard contact rate. Average exit velocity is 92. Just love some Bruce for home runs. So we're going to throw Jay Bruce in here. He's super cheap. We can throw him anywhere. We'll throw him up at the catcher first baseman position. I think what you're doing is pretty much stacking Yankees here. If you're playing cash, I'm going to have at least 3 of them. I might even throw 4 of them. They got the highest implied run team total at 5.53 on the slate. And second behind that is Toronto going up against Fulte. So again, when I'm playing, I'm playing cash, and I think this is where I'm going to be leaning towards. So I'm going to look for these guys that are going to profile well. Gainer Sanchez, even if you're going to play here, the Sanchez, man, 3,400. He profiles real well against his pitch as well. 444 WOBA, 326 ISO. And he's been on fire since the start of the season here. He's got 2 home runs. He went 0 for 4 against Toronto yesterday, but, first 2 games, 2 home runs. So I don't mind taking some Sanchez as well. But if we look at that knuckle curve and see what other, guys profile well against it, basically the whole damn lineup for the Yankees profile pretty well against it. DJ LeMahieu, 336 WOBA, only 145 ISO on it. But again, I don't mind taking him. He's safe as a cash play. He's just extremely good hitter, so I don't mind throwing him in there in cash. Again, Jay Bruce profiles extremely well against this too. 519 ISO, insane. 376 WOBA. So Bruce is definitely going to be in there, even if he's down in the order at 2,300. I'm fine doing that in cash with a guy that wind blowing out. You get a guy that profiles well against the pitcher. I have no problem playing a guy down if he is in the 8-hole, which. Again, this is where I think he's going to hit. We'll see when the confirmed lineups come out. But a guy that I'm going to look at throwing in that lineup. Again, looking down here, you can always play, Aaron Judge and Stanton. They don't profile. Aaron Judge doesn't profile real well for this pitcher. For this pitch, I'm sorry. Stanton, not too bad at it. Bruce is just all over it. Gio's profiles pretty well against this pitch as well. He's a 406 WOBA against it, 191 ISO. A guy that I don't mind throwing in. But you're going to be throwing in around 4 of these Yankees. I think we're going to start with Jay Bruce and DJ LeMahieu. And then I'm probably going to be looking at either coming down and throwing in a Gary Sanchez, or, maybe go, Aaron Judge. Aaron, you can play both of them. I mean, if you want to play both Aaron Judge and Stanton, you can throw both of them in there. I lean Judge a little bit more over Stanton. But again, you throw 4 Yankees in here with including Bruce, you still got almost 4K to play for. Like, you can play whatever you want. But again, I would put 3 to 4 Yankees in there if you're playing cash. If not, in tournaments, if you want to fade it, I get it for ownership, because ownership should be super high on them. But having that wind blow out, man, I'm like, oh, it's so hard not to play some of these guys. Like, looking on the Toronto side, let's see who profiles well against that pitcher, against Fulte here. Like I said, I'm not going to go in and talk about every team, but just, if I was going to start building a cash lineup, I probably would start with a core of, De Leon, Bruce, LeMahieu, and Judge as be my core 4 for the early. But let's talk a little bit about these Toronto guys. Again, going up against Fulte here. I talked about they have the second highest implied team total at 5.29 in this early slate. And Fulte throws, 5 pitches, 4 to righties, 5 to lefties. So he kind of is all over the place here. But against righties, he throws that slider a ton, almost 40% of the time. So if we kind of look at, on the righties, who hits the slider pretty well, we can kind of see that Biggio is pretty decent about it. He's got a 290 WOBA, which isn't great, 171 ISO. But Gurriel, he hits it the best on this team. He has a 405 WOBA and a 420 ISO against this pitch. He's only 2,500. I would throw him out there. Like he said, you might leave salary on the table. Don't be afraid to do that in baseball, and especially on this slate with no expensive pitching. I have no problem leaving some salary on the table. But Toronto, he's probably against that pitch, he'd be the one guy that profiles the best against it. Again, 405 WOBA, 420 ISO against that pitch. You definitely have to like a little bit of that as well. So if we go and look at some of these other pitches that he throws, he does throw a sinker as well. Kind of see where they profile against that. And they all smash the sinker. Marcus Semien, 410 WOBA, 295 ISO. Biggio, 457 WOBA, 358 ISO on that. So, and look how cheap these guys are. Like I was saying, we're getting 2,800 for Biggio here. We got all the money in the world. I ain't worried about spending on baseball. I am not worried about spending all my salary at all. Mike Trout can be 5K and go 0 for 4. And you get a guy like Biggio that can go, at 2,800, he can go 3 for 3 with 2 home runs. And so it doesn't matter to me. I don't care about salary. I'm caring about finding the best plays. And a slate like this where there's not pitching, I always pick my pitcher first. I will say that. Pick your pitcher first, but there's no spend-up options on this slate. So it's going to be a little funky building it, but don't be scared off that. Bichette, 473 WOBA against this sinker, 172 ISO. So again, I'm going to be going to a lot of these guys. He's only 3,100. Again, they're all kind of cheap. You get 5,600 left for 2 spots. But this is kind of where I would lean. I'm kind of going to go, either Ponce de Leon or Jose de Leon, and then I'm going to stack up the Yankees in Toronto if I was playing cash. This is the way I look at it. And I would just look at the pitch profiles and kind of see, what they do well. And so these are some of the guys that do well against the pitches that both these opposing pitchers throw. And that's kind of where I would look at. So with that, that's where I would lean it. Those are the pitchers I'm going on. Hope that helps you a little bit when it comes to building a lineup here. Let's jump right on over to the domination station. And like I said, we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about setting this booger up. Let's go back here. We'll set this up. Baseball early slate. Like I said, it's only a 2-gamer. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this on how to set this up because it's only a 2-gamer. And we got Toronto at Texas and we got KC at Cleveland here. And we might have a little bit of weather in Cleveland. They might have a little bit of weather. So that's just going to put more people on the Toronto bats. And again, I was on them on the 5-gamer. They're going to be very popular here as well. But just first, let's look at pitching. it's ugly. Let's just get that out of the way here. It is ugly. Like I said, Fulte has the best K rate out of the 4 here that we have, but he's also going up against a Toronto offense that's going to smash. So I don't really like Fulte here. Steve Matt's going against Cleveland. Matt's got a 22% K rate, only a 304 WOBA against lefties, Texas, that is. They have the smallest implied team total. So if you were going to take it, and maybe he would be the guy that I would look at, would be Steve Matz. Again, not super excited about pitching here, but you know, I think you can play a little bit of everybody too. If you're going to fade one though, I would go heavy on Matz. You know, Danny Duffy, I said he's got a really low K rate. So does Logan Allen. They're both around 20%. The matchups are very similar here. I have to go look at their pitch profiles and pull them up and kind of see what they do here. So if we go look at, let's go look at Danny Duffy's pitch profile and kind of see what he does against Cleveland. Looks like he's throws 5 pitches. Most of it's just a fastball, but he does mix in a slider and change up, sinker and a knuckle and a curveball. Yeah, fastball hitters. Luplo, he's one of those guys that you know, he's got a 496 WOBA, 350 ISO. Jose Ramirez, another guy that's going to be popular, 375 ISO, 504 WOBA. Against the sinker here. Against the fastball, same thing. Luplo, 524 ISO, 555 WOBA against that thing. One thing about Luplo and those guys is they have no problem pinch hitting for him, but he should be hitting up at the top of the order, and he's a guy that would throw in there. But yeah, I think you're going to go Danny Duffy and Matz most here. On a 2-game slate, I don't mind even sprinkling in some Fulte, because even though that the pitchers, shouldn't be great, I don't mind running all 4 of them out there, but I'll be heaviest on Matz and Duffy. I'm not going to mess with it on a 2-gamer. The big thing, what I wanted to show you, when you're doing this stacking, let me go look at this and pull up the chart that I talk about in these videos. On 2-gamers, the 4-2 on DraftKings seem to win the most, but you also have 4-3, 4-4, 5-2 at 18%, 4-2 at 24%. That seems to be the biggest one on a 2-gamers, this 4-2 stack. So we can come in here and decide, hey, let's set this up. I want 40% of this, and I'll throw, 20% of this, or maybe the best way to do it is to come here in the 4X, because we do have some 4-2, 4-3, 4-4, a little bit of 5-2. Maybe we'll put 10% in the 5X, and then we'll put 40% in the 4X. But it seems like these smaller game slates, you don't have a full 5-2 stack. So that's not where we're going to go. But the one thing I want to do is come back up here, and I'll make sure we're set at tournament mode. Come here, we'll use 2 uniques. And then the big thing here is allow hitters versus opposing pitchers. This is extremely important. I'm usually between 2 to 4. If you wanted to just limit it to 3, I think you could do 3 as well. But I'll leave it sometimes 2 to 4, depending on how bad the pitching is. The pitching is not fantastic at all, but we don't have like any massive implied team totals outside of Toronto's like 5.29, which isn't huge. So I think 2 to 3 is good. Even if you want to put 1 to 3, I think that's fair as well, if you want to do something like that. But I would definitely allow at least 1 hitter versus your pitcher. And you wouldn't do this on a big slate, but a small slate, you definitely would. So set that up that way. We'll make 50 lineups as we're doing this. I'm not going to force any projected ownership as low in this scenario, but I could see this if you wanted to get a little different once the ownership goes in there. But coming down, we got again, mostly it's 4-2 stacks. We're going to do that, 4-2, 4X, and a little bit of 5X here. I'm not going to go crazy. And actually, let's just set this to 5-2 that way. And again, I'm gonna let this rip and play whatever teams. Like, you can play a little bit of everybody. So I'm just gonna let this go and see what it gives us. I'm not gonna set anything. I want to see what it gives us raw in the initial projections that we have set up with the initial lineups, and see what it kind of gives us here. Just because I want to see what the projections are giving us and pushing towards. So that's where we're kind of leaning at this. Again, I want most of Steve Matz and Duffy are the guys that I want the most. Jose Ramirez is a guy I know that I want a ton. Bichette, Gurriel, like I told you how well that they do against that pitching profile. I want to make sure I have a bunch of those guys. But just looking at here, looks like 94% Duffy, 50% Mats. Again, you're going to play a little bit of everybody here. So Fulte would be definitely my number 3 here. I don't mind this. I don't know if I want 94% of one pitcher, but again, on a 2-game slate, you got to take some stands for sure. So I don't mind that. As long as I got more Duffy and Mats than I do Fulte and Allen, I'm cool with that. Perez, no problem there, 86%. Again, I have no problem running these guys super heavy. Looking through here a little bit. Simeon Merrifield, of course, I can see that. Biggio, 22%. Yeah, Jose Ramirez for sure. Like I said, he profiles so well against this. And those are the 2 guys that I want. So I'm glad that the projections are spitting that out. Bichette, I talked about how his pitch profile against that is extremely good. Gurriel at 16%. I want more of that. So I might come in here and just say I want 40% of him. I just talked about his pitch profile on the Fanduel one, how well he profiles against that pitcher. So I'll just run a min of 50% on him and rerun this, kind of see where it gives us. But again, I just wanted to show when you're running running a 2-game slate like this, make sure you do allow hitters versus opposing pitchers. I can't stress that enough. Very important. All right, if we go look at things here, now I'm getting 50% Gurriel, which I do want, and it's looking a little good. Now, Luplo, I said profiles pretty well against that. I like that. But Gurriel, I definitely want a bunch of. And Jose Soler, yeah, I'm kind of liking where this is at. As you can kind of see, we'll come down to some of these stacks here. So we have a Logan Allen in here, right? So, Logan Allen is going up against KC, and we have 1, 2, 3 bats against him. We have a Perez, Benintendi, Soler stack against him, and it just allows us to get their pitching, going down and pitching. So again, I don't mind if you go up to 4 even. If you want to go that on a 2-game slate, I'm perfectly fine with that, but that is important. And then again, we're going to have a lot of Toronto here. So going looking at the teams that we have, we got 90% Toronto, KC, Cleveland. We don't have any of the Texas bats. So that's a full fade on the Texas guys. Again, looking through here, we do have 18% in the 2 stack, but we're basically Toronto and KC in the 1, which I'm fine about. And then looking around here, a lot of KC Toronto, which is going to be popular, but it makes the most sense when you look at the profile and pitching and all that. So kind of look at it and see where it does. Again, you have Danny Duffy pitching, but we do have a Perez and Jose Ramirez, and that's important because you're going to have Danny Duffy in a bunch of lineups. But I do like the way Jose Ramirez profiles against Danny Duffy. So I don't mind throwing him in there, and that's why it's important to do that. So, yeah, that's just a quick kind of down and dirty kind of glance at this 2-gamer on DraftKings. Let's jump right over to the screen. Again, very quick, down and dirty. We got the 2-gamer on DraftKings, kind of showed you a little bit the domination station. You can head on over there and sign up, use promo code CashKeg, and get access to their domination station. Lineups come through, set those up. And then on FanDuel, we got that 5-gamer. I think it's the De Leons, the Ponce de Leon and Jose de Leon are the pitchers that I'm going for. And then I'm going to be, if you're playing cash, I would be extremely heavy on those Yankees with that wind blowing out. And then I would look at those Toronto bats and go back and, I talked about a couple of the pitching profiles and how well those guys profiled up against those pitches. So I hope this helped. If you liked this video, again, I appreciate if you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications, and we're going to pump out some more videos today. Hopefully this helps you win some money, and hopefully I see you over in the VIP chat at DFS Army, and I will see you on the flip side. Deuces.